Are they frauds? We're going to scroll down and choose the first video, which is Andrew Strong's 1.2 million views planche tutorial, how to start training planche in 2024. So just as if you've never heard of Andrew Strong, which I'm sure if you're into planche you have, Andrew Strong is an amazing plancher. He is just super strong in this, so it is not a surprise at all that his planche tutorial would appear at the top of the search because he is just so good at performing it. But does that mean that that ability transfers to coachable solutions for the average person?
The first question that arises among athletes is, am I ready or not? Remember, once and for all, if you can do 15 pull-ups, 30 dips, 40 push-ups, then your body is ready. Why is that?
So he's setting a strength standard to be able to give someone just an idea of if it's appropriate for them to start to train a strength skill. And I think that is valid. I think that it isn't black and white what those numbers should be. And I think that the numbers he's chosen are arbitrary in terms of, yes, that is a good amount for some, for others that might not be the right amount. But I think it is appropriate to set a strength standard with basic push and pull movements.
Because the planche is a strength skill, and without sufficient strength, you will not be able to perform the exercise with the proper technique, and your progress will be virtually stagnant. The more strength, the better. So, if you want to see a detailed video about how to increase strength, then write in comment below, workout strength. And I think you don't want to miss this video, then subscribe, yes, tap this red button and turn on notification. Okay, great, thank you, you are the best. What to start with if you have enough strength for learning? I recommend to start with a technique. It's a technique important in every exercise. I have identified 5 important points in technique that will help you to learn the exercise faster and correctly. First important point is the hands position. Yeah, hands position is very important because the wrong position can hurt your wrist and forearm. Put the hands like that, then open your fingers as much as you can and turn.
Alright, so he's looking at hand position first for a planche, and I think that is a valid thing to consider. And you definitely can, a flat hand planche, or just hands on the ground instead of P-bars, it can create overuse injuries on the wrist. Certainly valid here.
The hands 45 degree outside. So this is the right arm, wrong, the right, your elbow, look here. You have to turn because in this position your biceps and front delt works more. The third point is the shoulders position. About the shoulders, don't elevate to the ears. It's a big mistake. Try to push down from ears, like this. So,
Agree.
This is the wrong position. Push down and flex your legs. Again, wrong, right. Fourth point and most important one, scapula position. From here, try to push your back up, open scapula, squeeze chest. This is the scapula protraction. Again, this is a retraction, this is protraction. Important, don't do like this. Don't bend your spine. You have to just open the scapula and squeeze.
So I agree with this, depression and protraction. If you've watched anything about planche with me, you'll know that that's something that I emphasize as well. I also agree how he is showing not just rounding the back for the sake of rounding the back, but also know that depressing and protracting for some people, when they emphasize that, it does look very rounded in the back. So it's a little bit skewed because if I wanted to be general in giving advice, I could say I want to see a rounded back. I'll say depress and protract your shoulders and I should see everyone with a rounded back. But that shouldn't be misconstrued to mean that just rounding your back is depressing and protracting your shoulders. So there's a bit of nuance there which maybe gets missed. I'm not saying he's missing it, but that's just something for you guys to keep in mind.
Squeeze chest. Again, retraction, bending spine, scapula protraction. And the last point is lower back and hips position. Lower back, this is the wrong position. You have to flex in your abs and squeeze glutes. This is the right, wrong, right. Again, this part, try to twist in like this. From here, squeeze ups and squeeze glutes. This is the right position. I hope all is clear about the technique and we can move forward. To track.
So everything he said about technique, I completely agree with. There's no disagreements there. What comes next is, the thing is that with anyone that's great at planche, good at coaching it or not, probably is able to explain those things with the technique quite well. It now comes to exercise selection and whether they are choosing the right exercises to be appropriate for an adult learning these things. You can sometimes find that people gifted with planche can gloss over things that actually need attention for the average person to understand.
Progress and understand when move on to the next exercise. I have outlined 9 levels of training. Beginner
9
1
levels.
can't do tuck planche. Beginner 2 tuck planche 5 seconds. Beginner 3 tuck planche 10 seconds. Intermediate 1 tuck planche 15 seconds. Intermediate 2 advanced tuck planche 5 seconds. Intermediate 3 advanced tuck planche 10 seconds. Advanced 1 advanced V planche position 5 seconds. Advanced 2 advanced V planche 10 seconds. Last one, advanced 3 straddle planche 5 seconds. So now you know all 9 levels, and today I will be talking about the beginner levels. I will show you 10 exercises that will help you to learn the technique.
Okay, so what he's just gone through with those 9 levels is he's using time as a variable for progression. He's using the position, the shape of the body as a second level of progression. And was there a third one? The shape, the time. No, I think that was it. Yeah, so it was the shape, holding longer times, and then changing the shape to be more advanced. So there's 2 people I would generally deal with when I'm helping people with planche, or if they're people that are similar to me, which is generally what my audience has attracted, is that first step of the feet assisting to getting off to your first tuck planche. That's a whole video in and of itself for some people. The strength of going from your toes assisting to your feet off and you're holding a tuck planche, that can take a lot of time for some. Now, if you're in the world of you learnt your muscle up pretty quickly, you could pretty much always just tuck planche. And it was more about the advanced tuck and the straddle and understanding all the technique in those positions. That's going to be completely unrelatable to you, what I just said. But you're not living in the outer world of people that are interested in calisthenics, and this is a skill that is a gateway to getting into it. And without the right advice, like just seeing tutorials that go step 1 tuck planche, leaves them nowhere to go. You need something within those feet assisted and the tuck planche, and that is usually what's missing to sway a lot more general population towards getting into calisthenics. So I'm not gonna now do my tutorial on that bit, but that is just already within this tutorial. That is what I see something is missing for general public. This is already skewed towards people that are already pretty proficient and strong with their training, or the general public will watch this and they'll go from level 1 to level 2 very poorly, or they will just stay stuck at that level 1 and not know where to go from there. The second thing is the other clientele or people that I would deal with are people that can do a tuck and probably a shitty advanced tuck. And when I say shitty, I mean just technically strong. It's lacking the technical ability, and the straddle they could maybe shoot out or attempt, but the actual strength to hold how he demonstrated that level 9 really nice looking straddle planche is not there yet at all. And within that are the gaps of strength. Anyway, I've talked too long about those levels, but there were 9 of them. Let's have a further look into this planche tutorial.
Technique and increase strength. Wait. Before we move on to the exercises, one moment. Next video I will create about how move from advanced tuck planche to the straddle planche. And I think you don't want to miss this video, yeah? Then subscribe
already done like 2 to 3 times more call to actions than
Press
I ever
this
do.
red button.
Can you subscribe,
First
guys?
exercise, straight arm scapula push-up. Starting position, plank, scapula protraction, abs flexing. This is the starting position. Now, try to lose, down, retraction, maximum down, and from here, push, protraction, and abs flexing. Again, retraction, protraction. Just don't do like this. This is shit, or like this. No, you have to go
This is
slowly down,
shit.
retraction, loose, and then up, protraction, and squeeze, glute, squeeze, squeeze. This exercise is perfect to increase the deep back muscle to hold the scapula protraction position and learn the right position. Second exercise, planche lean. Starting position, hands 45-degree, scapula.
Alright, so the scap push-ups are a good exercise in understanding how to keep what he went through of depression and protraction under some load. Obviously, the further you lean into your planche, or the further you progress from tuck to advanced tuck to straddle to full, the more burden is on holding that position in the shoulders, and if you're not strong enough, you will lose it. So it is about setting those habits now, so that when you fail because the strength wasn't there, not because you just lose technique when adversity is introduced. I have personally found that doing elbow, like plank scap pushes, feels like it isolates that position a little bit more, even though what he is doing is more specific. If you do want to train that scap position very strictly as a you perfectly want to train that and only that. You're not thinking of the straight arm position. I did find those quite effective in the feel of the move.
Protraction, abs flexing, squeeze glutes. Great. Now lean forward, lean, lean, lean. Hold this position, hold. If you feel you can easy hold 10 seconds, then move more forward, more. Okay, hold this position. Yeah, easy. Then lean even more forward. Just don't lose here. Try to keep the scapula protraction all time and abs flexing and squeeze glutes. Then you can put your feet on the toes like this and hold. Third exercise.
So with the front support lean, that is also another great exercise for someone wanting to learn the planche to do. Definitely. This is just cold planche tutorial, but you can, there kind of needs to be a standard set. Like, is this a tutorial for people that can't do it? Is this for people that are wanting to refine their planche? This, to me, seems to be a tutorial trying to cover all bases, because they set that strength standard at the beginning of basic push and pull movements. It gave the toe-assisted tuck planche as the very first thing. So I think it is trying to go from a 0 to 100 and fit everything into one video. And I think, again, just thinking of general public looking to do this, gaps will start to emerge where there should have been a little bit more zoom in on what he's talking about, and he's just progressed to the next thing, assuming that there's just a linear jump from feet to a full tuck planche. With those leans, or the lean that he just did, to me that was a little bit too vague for someone going from nothing to being introduced to this. He leant and he just kept leaning further and further, even taking toes off. And he was correct in everything that he said in terms of do not let your technique break down. Don't try and lean so far forward that your technique breaks down. But just leaning all the way to the angle that he did and lifting the toes off kind of doesn't give a guide as to how to measure that progress. So that will likely be the undoing of a lot of people that are seeing that exercise from watching this video and thinking, I'm going to go and do it, is you might lean too far and lose position, but you might not be aware that you are losing position, because a skill involves developing proprioception and an understanding of if you are in a good position or not. You can liken it to when you first learn front levers and back levers and just having no idea if you're level or not. And there's no way you can learn unless you continually do it and just get that feedback over and over again until your body understands what horizontal feels like. So just a lot of options within that planche lean, whereas it would have benefited from a bit more structure. How long are we trying to hold these planche leans? What time frame should we be aiming for, and what are the first signs of breakdown in technique so that I know when I've leant too far? When should I, like, how far should I have to lean before I start to take a toe off? Things like that. A little bit more structure within the planche lean would be great, but planche lean in general is a good exercise for a beginner.
Dynamic planche lean. Starting position, hands turn out 45 degree. From here, step forward, so the pike is starting position. From here, lean forward, scapula protraction, abs flexing, just pause for 1 second and push back. Again, forward, move, just not like this, no, don't do like this, no. Or
so he's basically saying, do this move, but don't do it with bad technique. Again, as a blanket statement, of course that is correct, but it is just general population learning this skill don't know when they're doing bad technique. So that can also be another time when exercise selection is important. We're trying to plan for the least amount of, we're trying to make it as easy as possible for them to understand how to do the move without too many obstacles affecting their technique. So if we just take it to the full extent, or like exaggerate to make the point, is to have general population, we show them the technique and then we go, now try a full planche. Of course their technique is going to break down. That's a bad choice of exercise for someone first learning, because the intensity is ramped up so much that they would have little to no idea of what is happening apart from this is difficult and that's it. But from our perspective, their technique would just break down straight away. So we want to choose something like the planche lean and like this dynamic lean to planche and like scapular push-ups, but we want to choose a difficulty or give them a measurement, whether it's range of motion, time to hold, that makes it very unlikely that their technique would break down, so that they are getting success to begin and not setting bad habits.
like this, no. You have to move very slowly with the scapula protraction, abs flexing, squeeze glutes. Yeah, don't lose here. And not like this, keep it straight.
So he's suggesting tempo as a way to measure progress. Well, maybe not to measure progress, but he's suggesting follow a slow tempo as you do this move. And that is a great recommendation. Most people I have seen learning skills but not aware of how their body moves, rush it. Usually a really good cue for people is to move slower, feel the position. Remember how I told you to depress and protract? Do that. Now move slowly and just listen. Listen, feel what your shoulders are doing. Do you feel you're losing that position that you just applied or not? Read your body. Moving slower helps you do that.
Push up. This is a perfect exercise to increase your shoulder strength and prepare your muscle to the planche. So the starting position, from here, move forward a little bit, like this, yes, keep your lower back straight, and now, move down and push up forward, scapula protraction, again, down and up. So to make it harder, lean more forward, yes, and go down and push up, forward, again down and up, forward. Just don't make like this or like this. No, you have to do very slowly with the control in every point. So slowly down and push up, forward to the planche lean position. Exercise 5, take planche.
Okay, so planche push-up, or pseudo planche push-up, because the feet stay on the ground. Another good one to do, but pseudo planche push-up when someone is trying to learn tuck planche, would not be an appropriate exercise. And I know that he showed levels all the way up to straddle, so for some that is definitely appropriate to do that pseudo planche push-up. But if you're first learning your planche, forget about pseudo planche push-ups and just worry about stronger push-ups. So what they are is it's a bent arm pushing skill, and planche is a straight arm skill. And this is my opinion, but training planche as a skill specifically, you want to do that as the first thing in your workout. But once you have trained the skill and you have accumulated some fatigue there and your planche quality is starting to dip, you now want to do some more bent arm pushing so that we're still working the shoulders. We're still getting some more work done for that muscle, because it's likely the central nervous system and the elbow that will fatigue in the skill specific work. The shoulders have some capacity to do a bit more, and stronger shoulders will eventually lead to a better planche. So we want to take advantage of that and do something that is bent arm pushing as the second exercise within the workout, part of the main portion of the workout. And that can be anything that is compound, meaning moving your upper body as a whole thing rather than isolating, like using a machine and doing like pec deck as your second exercise. We don't want to isolate anything. And things like push-ups, bench press, pseudo planche push-ups. I'm not saying bench press is for planche. I'm just saying bent arm compound pushing exercises are a good movement to do as a secondary exercise to complement the planche. For a beginner though, pseudo planche push-up I wouldn't recommend. I would more recommend just basic push-up, because I think the pseudo planche push-up is too difficult for a beginner. All right, we're on to tuck planche.
Feet assist. This is the first step to the tuck planche. So the starting position, hands to the 45 degree, like always. This is the starting position. From here, start to press with the shoulders, press your back up, lean forward, keep your feet on the floor, press, great. Try to push with the scapular protection, with the shoulders, like push your body away from the floor. Hold this position for 5 seconds, and then slowly down, and again, press. You have to increase your press power, press, 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 hold 5 seconds, and again, just not like this. No, it's shit, it's only legs work, I don't know for what this. No, 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 you have to do very slowly. Try to help minimum with the legs and push maximum with the shoulders. Push, 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 and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly down. Exercise 6. Tuck planche with a resistant band.
Alright, so I'm a little bit confused. Again, I don't think anything that he's saying is wrong in and of itself. Those feet-assisted tuck planches are also good and fine. I think there's a bit of nuance there to how a beginner would control something like that well without any coaching or supervision. And we want to take away potential for doing an exercise wrong. So that would not be... Again, it's not wrong. I was just thinking of what is most appropriate for a beginner to do. I definitely think it's early on you would bring something like that in. Appropriateness for your introduction to planche, maybe, maybe not. I am a little bit more of a fan of the planche leans and the scat push-ups. So the other thing is I'm getting this, there's a lot of exercises here. For a beginner, there's 6 exercises now that are all planche variations, all different ways of doing planche. You do not need this much variation. So the reason I'm confused is maybe there's like a little bit of lacking context as to, are these options? Are these progressions? Is this a suggested workout? How many reps and sets? He might get into that at the end, but currently I think he's throwing so many options at you that it can't be wrong, but all these options are not the right answer, if that makes sense. Doing all of these is not the right answer. It's picking the ones appropriate for you. And what are those ones?
This
Let's
is
keep
the
watching
second
for now.
step to the tuck planche. So the starting position, take your band and put here on the waist, then slowly go down, hands position 45 degree. From here, press up, knee to the chest, and try to push with the shoulders, scapular protraction, and slowly lift your legs one by one and hold. Very important point that don't stand too much forward because your band will pull you back. Or you step here too much, then band will pull you forward. No, you have to be under the band and try to push maximum with the shoulders. So push, 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 push. Great. Hold and slowly one by one. Yes. And
again, I don't really like this exercise. I'm not against using a band for planche, and I'm not against this thing, but this is too many variables for a beginner. Again, he's not in a full tuck planche here, and tuck planche should be your first movement that you want to get. He's in a tuck planche, but he's not in a completely tucked planche, which with body weight, you want to be in a complete tuck and planching as your first skill. He's not in a full advanced tuck either, so there's just this gray area of what's happening here, and we want to minimize the variables for a beginner so that it's easy to understand and difficult to fuck up.
hold for 10-15 seconds. Exercise 7 to increase the press power. Tackle sit, press to the tuck planche. This is the starting position, so don't lose here. Push with the shoulders, legs close to the chest, and from here start to swing up, push with the scapular protraction up and down.
Forget about this, like beginners are not doing this.
So again, push with the shoulders like you want to push your body up away from the wall. Again, push your body away from the floor to the handstand. Good, you can go a little bit faster.
Okay, so wait, I'll let him finish this.
Like this, just not like this. I don't know for what this, maybe for only fun, but not for calisthenics. So you have to go very slowly, like this. Keep your knee all the way to the chest.
Okay, so you guys know, if you've been watching other planche videos I do, I am not an advocate for swinging planches. Now, that was a press to planche, but the way he suggested you could go faster, don't swing to any kind of planche. You're just trying to jump to the end result without any strength. You're using momentum. As soon as that momentum goes, you're coming down if the strength isn't there. If the strength is there and you can swing to it, cool, but the strength is there. So it's not a valid option to train your planche. That's what I think. Pressing to planche though, there is two ways to look at this. Absolutely not for a beginner. The planche press is harder than the planche itself. So trying to do the planche press if you can't tuck planche is silly. Nothing's going to happen. You're not going to move. So it's not like it's a risk of doing it. You're not actually going to be able to do it. So it won't happen. That where it can be helpful is if you are doing advanced tuck planches and you're trying to get stronger at it, or looking towards your straddle planche, doing the easier variation. So if you're trying to get straddle, doing advanced tuck or tuck planche presses can help with the strength. If you're doing an advanced tuck planche and you do tuck planche presses, that can help. By doing the easier version of the skill as a press is appropriate if you are already working different progressions. But if you're starting from nothing and looking to get your first tuck planche, the press is not a valid option for you.
Exercise 8, finally, tuck planche hold.
So again, I'm confused. I'm confused as to whether these have been progressions up to the tuck planche, or if these have been options to choose for planche.
The starting position, hands 45.
Because I don't think you need to have done all those 7 exercises to do tuck planche.
Degree, so your hands have to be here on middle of the quad. this is the starting position. From here, start to press shoulders down and press your back up. Keep your knee close to chest, press, press, lean forward, and then slowly one by one, press and hold. If you feel you don't have enough power, then do with a resistance band, but don't do like this. No, no, or like this. No, 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 no. Better do with a resistance band, slowly.
I don't find anything too wrong with that second one where he was just in the tuck and trying to press up. Because that is still loading. I mean, it's not the right position, but it's a good way to test where you're at with your planche if you're looking to get your first tuck. There's obviously other exercises you should spend more time with, but staying in the right technique and attempting the press, I kind of like that almost better than one foot up and then the other. I find with a beginner that doesn't have much awareness for their body, to use the legs, it's a slippery slope. I definitely do have certain skills and exercises where we use the feet to assist, but the common issue that arises is them not being aware of how much or how little to use the feet, and it ends up skewing the end result. So I'm not as big of a fan of using your feet to assist for planche progressions. I would much rather have you build more general strength and keep symmetry within your body, whether it be band, whether it be feet assistance. Another thing to say on all these demos that he does where he says not like this and does a humorous version and calls it shit. I do that. When I'm demonstrating for people, I also do that. But I think one thing to address is that when someone is learning and they're doing that, I don't think they know that it's shit. Because I think everyone watching this and watching Andrew do this would laugh and find it funny. I find it funny when he does the bad examples, but the people that actually do the bad examples I don't think they know they're doing that. And that's the gap in knowledge there. It's the beginner has to build awareness for how they move. They don't know what is good and what is bad. Their brain can't make that connection to the body yet. That is what's being developed, and that is what I think is missing from all advanced athletes who are really good at what they do and then just make tutorials. So I'm not saying Andrew Strong is that. This is why I'm reviewing it, but that is a common issue across elite athletes teaching normal people what to do.
To feel the muscle,
they don't know.
To increase your strength, and then press to the tuck planche, the right position, and hold. Exercise 9, hollow hold and hollow hold raises. Both exercises I recommend to do. So this is a good exercise to increase your core muscle. So this is the starting position. Now start to flexing your abs, squeeze glutes, lift your shoulders, couple of retraction, lift your legs, and hold, and down again. Good, just not like this. Or like this, like a fish on the plate. No, you have to go very slowly. And hollow hold, hold. Like this, just hold this position. Then you can add also the extra weight, take a dumbbells on your hands and hold this position. Exercise 10 for your lower back.
Cool. I don't really have much to say about the dish position. It's a good exercise. It's a good way to understand how the body should be or feel when you're in a full planche. And yeah.
And glutes, we need a box. So lie down on the box, like this, yes. Hold with the arms, legs straddle, and from here, raise your legs up, squeeze your glutes maximum, and down. Again, up, squeeze your glutes, and down. But don't do so fast or just like this, no. Full range of motion. All way up, down. So, now you know where to start in 20...
So I'll just address both of those core positions. So yeah, the dish, or that hollow hold, is a good accessory. It's not your main planche work. You could do that before to prime your body as to what it should feel like in the core when you do your planche, or at the end to get some more work in for the core. For the other one on the box, I would actually say Andrew is performing that wrong for planche. Like if you look at his torso, the whole tutorial he's been speaking about posterior pelvic tilt, tuck in the pelvis under. And now when you look at how he's doing this on the box, he's gone into anterior pelvic tilt when he's at the top, so he's arching his back. I completely understand what the concept is here, and I've done it myself, is that activation in the lower body without the burden of anything on the upper body, so you can get more time in that position. And again, like, none of this is meant to be like, Andre does it wrong, he doesn't get it. This is a fucking difficult thing to do, especially on a wooden box like this. If you've ever done it, you know what I'm talking about. On this wooden box here, you want to push your hips into the box with that posterior pelvic tilt and pull your legs up. Now this can be in straddle or straight, and not go into anterior tilt. And it feels way more intense, and your range of motion feels way less. It's super uncomfortable to do, which is why doing it on this wooden box, like it doesn't feel as bad when you go into anterior tilt like that. But essentially what's happening here is he's losing that tension or that contraction in his abdominals, which is what keeps a posterior pelvic tilt, and he's gone into lumbar extension. Maybe I'm getting that wrong, could be flexion, but the anterior tilt. So when you do full planche or straddle planche, you want to keep the abs on. And if you're doing this drill like this, you're letting go of the abs. So it's not specific technique that you should be doing if planche is your goal and you're doing it for planche. Maybe I'm being a stickler, but that is just how I evolved with this exercise and what I believe to be the most specific way to train it to complement planche work. Also, he did the hollow body, the dish hold in a full, like legs together, and now he's doing this in straddle. So just a bit vague for the viewer.
Down. So now you know where to start in 2023, yeah, and now just training,
Another
and
call to action.
A lot
That's
of
for
time
me.
to learning the planche.
Okay, so what that tutorial was, I'll just let it play again. So what that tutorial was a lot of options to train planche. It says planche tutorial, how to start training planche. I feel like he delivered on the planche tutorial, like how the body should be. I agree with hand position, shoulder position, pelvis position, and how to start training planche in 2024. I feel like, yes, like if you look at this video, he gave honest strength parameters at the start. And I believe a lot of people that go towards doing their planche can't do those strength parameters. So it's almost like if anything else in the rest of the video people do poorly, there's the unsaid disclaimer that they probably can't do those strength parameters. So even though it's glossed over at the start, it should be highlighted how important having a base of strength is for a strength skill. Otherwise, you're just going to be looking like the silly examples that he shows. So, and then as we get into the tutorial, we get, in my opinion, for a beginner, bombarded with different exercises. There's no real direction in why you should choose this one over this one. There's no direction in terms of sets and reps. And I think even though Andre is so strong, such a good demonstration of planche technique, I don't think this is a great, like if you take it literally for the word, planche, how to start training planche, I don't think it gives that great of a guide in what to do. I think it does really well in giving a bunch of options to do. So yeah, that's my assessment on that. Great demo of technique, a lot of different options, but I still don't think it leaves the beginner with direction in where to go. Sure, they might get it right by chance, but that's not, the path isn't clearly given from this. And I think there is a bit of a gap in terms of the feet assisted to the full tuck, zooming in for the beginner. And I do think it comes from picking maybe 2, maybe 3 of those planche variations, the amount that he gave, and that would be like the front support lean and the scapular push-ups. And this is if you can't tuck planche. And then on probably the main part of your training is building your general pushing strength. So if you can't do those parameters that he said, I said it was a gray area, so it doesn't have to be specific to that, but you do want to be able to do a fair amount of dips. You want to be able to do a fair amount of push-ups. You want to have a decent, say, bench press and overhead press. You want to have decent weighted dip. These things will help to make tuck planche almost a given when you come to give it a go if you're really struggling with it. All right, guys, let me know if you want me to review any other videos. I'm definitely not going in hard and making it like, oh, what, he recommended that? What he fucking do that for? And I'm just trying to give a sensible assessment of viral planche videos to give a little bit more sense to planche training. Subscribe.